Have you ever felt lost or far from where you belong? Jesus told a story for moments just like that, a story about a son who left home searching for happiness elsewhere. This is the parable of the prodigal son, but it's more than an old tale. It's a message of hope, second chances, and grace for anyone who's ever made a mistake. We've all had regrets, and wished for a fresh start. This story reminds us, it's never too late to come home. The father in the story represents God, a God who waits for us, not with anger but with open arms. Jesus kept it simple, a family, a father, two sons, and the pain of separation. That's why it speaks to every heart. It's about our need for love and acceptance, just as we are. So let's walk through this story together. Maybe you'll see yourself in the younger son, who wandered far away, or maybe in the older son, who stayed but felt distant. Most importantly, let's look at the Father's incredible unconditional love. Let his response be a source of comfort and encouragement for you today. This isn't just their story, it's ours. It's about God's amazing grace. It's an invitation to come home. No matter where you are, this story is for you. It's a reminder that love never gives up. Forgiveness is always possible, and the door to home is always open. Let's begin this journey together. Let's discover the heart of the Father. This is a story for every heart. The story begins with a shocking request. The younger son asks his father for his share of the inheritance, essentially wishing his father was gone. It's a deep rejection, a desire to live life on his own terms. The father could have refused, but instead, he lets his son go. This painful act is love, giving freedom, even to make mistakes. The son leaves, pockets full, chasing excitement in a distant country. He spends freely, surrounded by people who only care about his money. He wastes everything on fleeting pleasures. The inheritance meant for his future is gone in a flash. He trades the security of home for a few moments of thrill. He doesn't think about consequences or the future. When the money runs out, so do the friends. The long road away from home leads him to a dead end. He's left with nothing, no money, no friends, no hope. The freedom he wanted now feels like a prison. He's far from home and even farther from the love he left behind. The father's heart aches, but he waits. The son's journey is a warning and a lesson. Sometimes we have to reach the end of ourselves to realize what truly matters. The story is just beginning. The son's choices have consequences, but the door to home is not yet closed. The father's love is still waiting. The road away is long, but the way back is always open. This is the turning point. The son's journey is about to change. The story of grace is just getting started. Sometimes the hardest lessons lead us home. Just as the money runs out, a famine hits. The son is left hungry and alone, his so-called friends gone. The freedom he craved now feels like a trap. Desperate, he takes the lowest job feeding pigs. For a Jewish man, this is rock bottom. He's so hungry he envies the pigs' food. No one helps him. He's lost everything: status, dignity, hope. In the filth, he finally comes to his senses. He remembers his father's house where even servants have enough to eat. The contrast is staggering. He realizes his foolishness and the pain he's caused. It's not just about hunger, it's about a deeper longing for home and forgiveness. He's broken, humbled, and ready to admit his mistakes. Sometimes, hitting rock bottom is what it takes to look up. The son's heart turns toward home. He's ready to face the consequences. The journey back begins with a single, honest moment. He's not just sorry for his situation, he's truly repentant. The weight of his wrong turn is heavy, but hope is stirring. The story shifts from regret to the possibility of redemption. The first step back is the hardest, but it's also the most important. Grace is waiting on the other side. With new clarity, the son decides to return home. He knows it means facing shame and admitting he was wrong. He rehearses a speech. "Father, I've sinned against heaven and you. I'm not worthy to be called your son." He doesn't expect to be welcomed as a son, just hopes for a servant's place. Every step home is filled with fear and hope. He's a shadow of who he was, humbled and broken. This journey is more than physical, it's a spiritual return. The hardest part is admitting the need for help, but he takes that first step, leaving pride behind. The journey back to grace always starts with humility. He doesn't know what awaits, but he's willing to risk it. Restoration begins with a single, honest step. The son's story is our story, returning to the Father one step at a time. The road home is open, the Father is waiting. Now the focus shifts to the father. He isn't angry or distracted, he's watching, waiting. Every day, he scans the horizon hoping for his son's return. His eyes are filled with love, not judgment. He never gave up hope. The father's heart never left his son, even when his son left him. He's not waiting to punish, but to welcome. When he finally sees his son, he recognizes him instantly, despite the rags and shame. This is a picture of God's heart, always searching, always ready to forgive. The father's compassion moves him to action. He doesn't wait for an apology. He runs to his son. The father's love is relentless. Our brokenness draws him near, not away. He sees us long before we reach him. The father's watchful eyes are full of mercy. He's not a distant judge, but a loving dad. The story is about to reach its most beautiful moment. The father's response will change everything. Grace is about to meet repentance. The father doesn't wait, he runs to his son. In that culture, dignified men didn't run, but love breaks all rules. He throws his arms around his son, embracing him before a word is spoken. The son tries to confess, but the father interrupts with love. The embrace comes before the apology. The kiss comes before the confession. The father's actions say, "You are home, you are loved." Grace means getting what you don't deserve. The son expected rejection but received acceptance. The father isn't interested in a list of failures, he's focused on restoration. The past is washed away in love. This is God's forgiveness. No groveling, no earning, just open arms. The son thought he'd have to work his way back. The father shows him, "You never stopped being my child." Love is not based on performance, but on the father's heart. The embrace of grace changes everything. The son is restored, not as a servant, but as a beloved son. The father's love is unconditional. This is the heart of the gospel. When we turn back, God runs to meet us. His grace covers our shame. The story is not about the son's failure, but the father's love. The embrace is the turning point. Home is where grace lives. The father's welcome doesn't stop at an embrace. He calls for the best robe, a ring, and sandals, symbols of honor, authority, and belonging. The son's rags are replaced with dignity. He's restored not as a servant, but as family. The father orders a feast, a celebration for the whole community. The fattened calf is reserved for the most special occasions. The father wants everyone to know his lost son is found. This is not a quiet reunion, but a public celebration of restoration. My son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. That's the heart of the gospel. We were lost, but grace brings us home. The Father's joy is overflowing. The celebration is for everyone because restoration is worth rejoicing. The Son's return is new life. The party is a picture of God's joy when we come home. Grace doesn't just forgive, it celebrates. The story is about resurrection, not just return. The Father's love turns mourning into dancing. The celebration is for all who come home. But not everyone is celebrating. The older brother, out in the field, hears the music and is angry. He refuses to join the party, feeling overlooked and resentful. He's kept all the rules, worked hard, and feels he deserves more. The father goes out to him, showing the same love and patience. The older brother's heart is trapped by pride and comparison. He sees grace as unfair. He's just as lost, at home but distant from his father's heart. The story isn't just about rebellion, but also about self-righteousness. The father's invitation is for him too. Will he accept it? The father gently reminds his older son, "You are always with me, and everything I have is yours." The celebration isn't about fairness, it's about family and restoration. The father invites the older son to join the joy. The story ends with the invitation hanging in the air. Will the older brother come inside? Jesus leaves the ending open because the choice is ours. Are we ready to let go of pride and join the celebration of grace? Whether we're lost in rebellion or in self-righteousness, the door is open. God's love is constant, His grace is enough. The way home is always open. All it takes is a single step. The Father is waiting, arms wide. The story invites us all to come home.